Hey, how's it going? My name's Derick Jones. This is I don't know what part this is, probably part 5, maybe? Part 6? I don't know. But he says it in the thumbnail. What we're going through is the Morpho series. We're picking up back at page 44. This series is just a follow along, going through this Morpho book. The Morpho series is one of my favorite anatomy, how to draw anything books, and I just wanted to work through this and have some people work through it with me. So here we go. Always fun to do a little intro. I should probably close my door. Hold up. All right. So we're starting back off with the female side of the torso now. So let's get into that. Pretty good day today. So we're going to just start with this figure right here. Oh wait, we already read this, right? But just in case, the breast suspended from the clavicle follows the movements of the arms. So wherever the breasts go, or wherever the arms go, the breast will follow. Same thing here. The breast resting on the pectoral spills over to the side. So if it's at rest, basically, like, I kind of didn't understand this yesterday, but if the breast is just kind of sitting there, it's basically kind of going with the flow of like the rib cage. Obviously, there are exceptions to that. Some artists do whatever they want to do for when it comes to the female anatomy, but there you go. Man, I gotta tell you what, the torso is one of those things that is just the elusive. I don't know, man. It's a thing I always have to spend a certain time of the year just reviewing. Is this freaking torso? Because I either don't make this egg section big enough sometimes, and then I'll make this this midsection just kind of basically like non-existent, and it really just ruins. It really, like, once you like kind of like step back and you're like, oh no, man, like I didn't leave enough room for like the rib cage and all the stuff going on in there. So this guy really always gives me quite the agita. A lot of agita. But that's what we studied for, right? Uh-oh. Something smells like it's burning. Hopefully that is not my house. Oh, what the fuck is that? Huh. Well, we'll find out. That does not smell good. Hopefully, I think my girlfriend's cooking right now, so hopefully she's not burning something, but something definitely smells like it's on fire. I might have to stop recording. Hold up. What the hell is that smell? Hey babe, are you burning something? Oh, okay. Yep, my lady's burning something. Okay, sorry about that. So there you go. Like, look at how like much space you have to work with the torso, right? But I guess like a good rule of thumb is like this is like 1/3. I don't know. So let's say like this is the biggest. Let's write a note. The biggest. This is split. This section down here is split into two. Looks like almost equal parts. Right? But then one could even say that same length. Right? If we're just drawing, like, again, right, this rule can change at any moment. You know, especially if we get into more like cartoony stuff, that could definitely change. But it's kind of a good rule of thumb if you're just kind of drawing just like normal styled characters. like semi-realistic characters, kind of like I do. I feel like that's a good just thing to kind of just remember. Just like we have to remember that there still is construction here, so I almost just started just drawing what I see here. So, and I got to tell you, just since starting this series again, or just starting like to kind of review this book again, it's already helped out my drawings drastically. So hopefully that helps you guys, just to kind of know that, like. But too, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been drawing for a while, so this is, again, right, like this is just like kind of a review of things for me. So if it's not snapping into place, don't fret and don't give up. Just know that, like, you got to keep working through this book, and that you are going to have to either move on to like another book after this book, or you can just restart the book over again, you know, or just kind of keep it out while you're working on whatever you're working on. When I was a younger cartoonist, still pretty young, but a thing that I would do is I would hit up you know, some of my favorite artists and just ask them, like, what did you do to kind of like get good at like anatomy, or, you know. And one thing that they always kind of said that they, you know, a lot of them were like, I learned on the go, you know. And some of them were even like, yeah, you know, I had the Bridgman book out basically while I was learning how to draw, like, on the page. So whatever pose I had to do, I would just, you know, be looking at this Bridgman book, which I've never done. I've just heard so many things about Bridgman that it's like, it's very hard to kind of understand, especially if you're like when I was like at that time, everybody, it just seemed like Bridgman's kind of like the last thing you should be looking at as like a person just trying to get better at drawing. So I don't really know if that still applies, but I also kind of think the older the how to draw book, it's kind of dealing with a different type of human that it wasn't as distracted as we all are now. So let's get this one. Meaning, by that I mean there's just a lot of text, you know, and I really like the Morpho series for the simple fact that there's not that much text. Okay. So even still, right? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep reiterating it. Hopefully it helps. But right, it's very tempting to just start drawing. What you see, but remember to try to just break it down first. Okay, so we got some pretty good construction here. So now we can get in here. And you know what, too? Don't be afraid to, once you have that construction in, just kind of lightly erase, and then you can kind of come in here and draw over top. this stuff right here, holy crap, is it hard to draw. Your serratus muscles right here, oh madon, those are very tough. But once you kind of get the hang of it, you can kind of draw as many of them as you want, which is kind of nice about it. Like a lot of artists will just kind of go nuts around here. Got a little bit more room here. We'll get this guy in here, right here. I'm just gonna write where the arms go, the breast follow, just as like a reminder. Kind of hard to illustrate, but I think we can do it. Not I think that we can do it, I know that we can do it. Kind of rushing a little bit today because I do have to go work out at around 4. I'm recording this at like almost 3. We'll get this drawn in too. You hate the sun. Remember, anytime you got a big body like this, you know, there's a lot going on. Just try to give yourself those guidelines of like top, bottom, where you want to stop. Then, of course, get that construction in there. Looks like we're kind of looking at something kind of like this, more so for the construction. Right, even though it's not really there in the drawing, it's still not a bad idea to just kind of guess what's going on. Okay, and like I said before, I kind of like to just do like a little stick figure, basically for any like limbs, and then from there, you know. Cool. So now let's tighten this up. Just like the drawing. Cool. So these breasts are kind of, I guess she's not, I guess I drew her more lifted. Ah, crap. Instead of a lean. But see, this is great, right? We're in the construction part, so super duper easy fix. Much more of a lean we've got going on here. There we go. Perfect. So, you know, I don't know. Sorry. I won't talk too much, but fix your mistakes. Fix them now so you don't have to fix them later, right? And this is the other good thing about what we're doing here, right? Is like that was a pretty easy fix because it was just in that construction phase. Like there was a part of me that was just kind of like, ah, frick. I gotta redraw this frickin' thing. But you don't when it's in, just adjust the shapes. And there's like some little bumpies here. I really try not to get too crazy with these bumps. Just because, you know, straights versus curves. I'm kind of much more into this, you know. Let this side be bumpy and then I'd probably just smooth all that out. But it is kind of good to know where these bumps and folds are when you're drawing from like life, like this pose clearly was. Cool. All right, let's move on to page 45. The breast pointing slightly to the sides follow the roundedness of the rib cage. So if they're pointing out to the side, they follow the roundedness of the rib cage. Looks like they're just, so figure 3. Oh, okay. I was like, what? So figure 3, I guess if you're, you know, your arms are outstretched or something, like they're basically just gonna go off to the sides. But again, right, it's still following that same rule of like wherever the arms are going, the breasts are gonna follow. So yeah, more of that. I've got reports in that say that my my series so far is very raw. So I hope that's good. I mean, I'm not doing this to become an influencer, so I feel like it's kind of like, you know, take what you can get from this series. Of hopefully you're not just sitting there watching. Hopefully you're drawing along. Because, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be doing bells and whistles and be like, hey guys, just wanted to take this second to talk about Squarespace. Like, we're not doing any of that stuff. This is literally just draw time. So I hope Raw's a good, I mean, I guess it's like unedited. I didn't take like offense or anything. I'm just like, all right, yeah, I guess that's, I mean, it is Raw. I just turn the camera on and go. You know, I just feel like I'm not about to become a grifter, and I feel like the YouTube space can kind of get griftery where you're watching a video and you're like, oh, this is really cool. Then all of a sudden somebody's trying to sell you something and you're like, Jesus Christ. I can't escape it. I live in New York City where everywhere you go, someone is trying to sell you something. And I'm quite tired of it. So I can't imagine what my audience feels. You know? So. There you go. Ah, crap. You know what? I just realized I did something bad. I sent an email out with this, with the old link to this video series. Because the first video in this series has like 300 and something likes, or 300 something views, and then the second one only has like 20. So I was like, wait a second, I've been sending this out to my email, but I don't think I ever changed the link. Whoops. Whoops. More evidence that I'm definitely not going to be a influencer. So, anything complicated, remember, don't freak out. Rely on your construction. Don't freak out. Okay. And so I guess what you can do, right, is you can just make the bottom of this breast line follow along, like make it just the same line as this rib cage. Right? And same thing over here. Just like that. This reminds me of the half zombie in Return of the Living Dead. The zombie that kills Scuzz. I'm pretty sure it's Latinx, which is kind of cool. They had that movie rules. Very ahead of its time. It wasn't just white people getting eaten by zombies, it was everybody. Everybody could get it. But I guess, like, you know, it's one of those first movies that had like a pretty multicultural cast. Like, two of the people were in like the group that was getting chased, like the Scooby-Doo gang. That's kind of what I call them. Two of them were definitely Spanish. They had Spider, who's black. That is just one of my favorite movies of all time to watch. I'm so glad it's on Tubi. I honest to God can honestly say I watch that movie at least once a week. Breaking my rule a little bit because I'm getting comfortable here where I'm just drawing. But really got to remember to stack these shapes. Come on. There we go. Okay. Now we can get in here and draw. Alright, so this, again, so this breast is being lifted, so I guess when that happens, right, you know, it still keeps its roundness, that's what it seems like. I guess you don't really, like, stretch it, just because, like you would think, because, like, when your arms are out to the side, it kind of flattens the breast out. But I guess this just like moves them up. So I guess you can still keep like the roundedness, the rounded shape of the breast. Cool. And then we'll do this ditty right here. Oh my god, this is pretty complicated. But we got this. I guess this is like how you can kind of check if you're learning, right? By doing the complicated drawings in here. But, you know, like I've said before, if you kind of in a time crunch or anything like that, just try to pick one drawing on the page that's like very, very complicated. Maybe one that's pretty easy, and then one that's like medium. You know, if you can do that every time you're doing this study stuff, then you'll be all right. Okay, so this is our cheek line. I'm getting a little bit of a review from the previous section here. This is where the eyes are going to be, right? Ears. All right. Unfortunately, this book is pretty short, which is also kind of why I chose it for like the first of the series. But there's definitely a lot more complicated things happening in the body, but it's okay. Okay, got this rib cage. This is really cool. I mean, he did his with like a full-on like actual pencil, but the black wings currently really hurt my wrist, so can't use them, so I gotta kind of noodle here. By the end of this, I will be very good at cross-hatching, which is a art form that I do not like. I'm not a fan of cross-hatching. No, I am. I'm just joking. For me personally, it's a thing that is very easy to get out of hand with. So I don't like to do it for that specific reason. Because it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, cool, do some cross-hatching here, do some cross-hatching here, do some cross-hatching over here. You know, maybe a little bit more cross-hatching over here. And then the next thing I know, I just have this mess. And, you know, you're just like, God, what a mess. Ooh, I think I didn't do the head correctly. I think the head's a little bit more tilted this way. Again, right? I mean, it matters. You know, I don't know. I guess I technically didn't have to fix that, but see something, say something kind of thing. Okay. All right, more of this. Okay, so figures 1 and figures 2 are volumetric representations of the hollow of the armpit. So we're talking about this area right here. Sorry guys, right here, 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 and here. Another thing that's can get very easily forgotten. So let's go ahead and get some of that in. So remember, like kind of how we learned is that this is, you got your rib cage shape, and then your arm, basically, that there's like this space here, and then there's like, this connects to it, like your pec is definitely in this egg shape, but your arm is almost like outside of this egg shape. So it said that a couple chapters back. All right, so it should look something like that. So if you ever wonder why your arms, like if you're not drawing enough space in between those arms, or I don't know, I feel like it's hard to put in words, but remembering that definitely helped. Like, oh wait, my arms are like outside of the rib cage area thing, that the rib cage that I'm drawing. This drawing here. It's basically the same drawing we just did. Just like that. Do we have any more room on this page? I think we got a little bit more room. Fit this in. Scotland. Okay, so we're gonna do this crazy technical drawing right here. We're going to do it pretty small because I don't have that much room here, but if you got room, definitely lock this information in. So this line right here that I'm kind of making, that's a line that, again, right, you see that in a lot of European comics. It's almost like this, like that. So remembering that for like this pec line is really cool, like that I can just kind of throw that line really quickly and get like a pretty convincing pec line. Pretty neat. Some more. Do this guy here. or maybe we'll do a complicated one because I think I basically understand what's going on here. Not basically, but you know, I feel pretty comfortable. Also, remembering that this box, the pelvis can just be a elongated box, really helps me out too. This probably needs to be just a little bit bigger, but it's okay. And again, I am drawing when I should be constructing. Okay, so this is the roundness of that rib cage. Got this. Right. Cool. Whew, my hand is definitely feeling sore, which is annoying. But I kind of technically was supposed to take today pretty easy. But, you know, I really didn't want to fall behind on this study session because I'm also really not trying to like prolong this study session for too long, right? Like I don't want this to be like a month long thing. You know, I got deadlines and stuff, but I just want it to be a part of my daily practice for a little bit. Cool. There's that, and then let's get in this little guy right here. I guess you could say it's like a I don't even know what the hell you'd call that. I don't know, but it's highlighted here, so I'll try to make a note of it. I'm actually not going to be able to fit him in all the way, so we're just going to kind of concentrate mostly on that torso, the torso, and how everything is kind of connecting to it, rather than do the entire drawing. But if you're following along at home and you want to do that whole drawing, definitely go for it. I'm going to do most of it, mostly just like the torso. But I'm not going to worry about like all the super details that's going on here. Okay, so let's see what they're saying. So they're saying very interesting. I can't really put it into words, but trying to just kind of make this mental note of this. Okay. This falls around. We've got, I guess there's like a little bit of it here on this side, but you got this bump out. Interesting. we're just gonna go with that for now. Cool. And you know, I don't know. I feel like this is important to just kind of keep hashing in there. So one more, right? And then I actually have to take a break. I have to use the baño.